Hello again, everybody. Okay, so in today's lesson, we're going to talk about how to calculate the volume of certain types of prisms and cylinders. Okay, now calculating volume is different from calculating surface area. When we're calculating the volume, what we're trying to figure out is how much space is inside the polyhedron or the three-dimensional figure, and we always measure that in cubic units. Okay, so we're going to use different types of units when we give our solution to these problems. Okay, so we're going to start first of all with basic rectangular prisms, and finding the volume of a rectangular prism is very straightforward. You just multiply the length times the width times the height. And again, it is up to you what you want to call the length, what you want to call the width, and what you want to call the height. Okay, I think on this one, I'm just going to go straight to the formula. Notice that we have this side here, which is 6. I'll just call that my length. And then the side next to it, 5, I'll call that the width. And then this side right here, the 7, is what I will call the height. And it's calculating it is very quick and simple with a calculator. You just multiply 6 times 5 times 7. And in doing that, I get 210. And in this case, that's cubic yards. Basically, how many, imagine these would be big cubes, but imagine these cubes that were all a yard on each side. How many of those would it take to fill in this entire big structure? Well, that's how much, about 200, or it would be exactly really 210 cubic yards. Okay, and it's that simple. Calculating volume is not as intense as calculating surface area. Go ahead and pause the video here and try number 2. So here on number 2, again, using the same formula, my length I'll say is 12, my width I'll say is 7, and my height 8. So I simply take 12 times 7 times 8, and that gives me 672, and again, that is in, in cubic inches, and that would be the volume of that one. Okay, so volume of a rectangular prism is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Let's look at another type of prism, and again, this is one we've seen before, the triangular prism. Now, volume of a triangular prism, I kind of redid the formula the way you're used to seeing it, simply because we're only going to, again, be dealing with right triangles, so I just figure let's just stick with that. So, keeping in mind that the A and the B are the base and height, or, the two legs of the right triangle, right? Look for that right angle. So the 8 and the 6 would be that. And then we multiply by L, which, remember, is the height of the entire prism, which in this case would be the 11 here. Notice that's, again, the side that connects the two triangles. So the hypotenuse here we're not even going to use. What we would normally have called C when we were doing surface area, you actually don't even need that when calculating volume. So we're going to disregard that side because you don't need it. So you take 1/2 times the A and B. We do have to multiply by the 1/2 because we only want the area of just one triangle, and then when we multiply it by the height of the whole prism, that'll fill in for the volume. Okay, so it's still a pretty efficient formula. But I'm going to type in 1/2, so my A, I'll just say, is the 8, and the B is the 6. Those are interchangeable, of course. And then the height of the whole prism is 11. So we're simply going to take 1/2, or 0.5 if you prefer, times 8 times 6 times 11. And I'm using my calculator. And what I am getting is 264. And again, that is cubic feet. So 264 cubic feet is my answer for that one. Okay, so that one's not too bad. Let's pause the video here and try number 4. Okay, so we're going to do number 4. A lot of the dimensions are kind of the same here on this one, but it's the same formula. So 1/2 multiplied by, so once again, my legs are 6 and 8, just like the last example. So we're going to take 1/2 times 6 times 8, and then multiply by the L, the height of the prism, which is the 8 that is right here. So this other 8. So 6 times 8 times 8. 1/2 times 6 times 8 times 8. Again, the 10 we disregard because that's the hypotenuse of the right triangle, which is not needed for calculating the volume. Okay? So 1/2 times 6 times 8 times 8. I mean, 1/2 times 6 is 3, so really you're just taking 3 times 8 times 8 if you want to get right down to it. And the answer should be 192 cubic centimeters. And if that's what you got, great job. Okay, and now we're almost done with this one. I just have to show you guys one more, and that is the cylinder. So again, volume of a cylinder. Again, a cylinder is a prism where the base is a circle. So in this case, you know, all you need is the radius and the height, and we have both of those. Once again, you can keep your answers in terms of pi if you prefer. Okay, so in this case, calculating the volume, it's just going to be pi times 10 squared, because that'll give me the area of the base, and then when I just multiply it by the height, that fills in the volume of the whole cylinder. So 10 squared is 100, and 100 times 9 is 900, so our volume is 900 pi cubic inches, and that is an answer that I will accept. And again, if you prefer the decimal answer on your calculator, just take 900 times pi. We get 2,827.43 cubic inches rounded to the nearest hundredth for that one. All right, pause the video and try number 6, please. All right, so for number 6, again, I hope you guys are noticing, this is the 3rd video now. You know, they might not always give you the radius. They'll probably give you the diameter, which, once again, that's what they did. So first make note that our radius is actually 9 kilometers, right? Because that's the radius is half the diameter. So when calculating our volume, we're going to take pi times 9 squared, because our radius is 9, times the height of the cylinder, 7. So 9 squared is 81, and take 81 times 7. Oh, hold on. There we go. 81 times 7 is 567. So our volume is 567 pi cubic kilometers. And I will accept that as an answer. If you prefer, again, the decimal answer, just take 567 times pi on your calculator. And we get 1,781.28. Cubic, excuse me, not square, cubic. That should be a little 3. Cubic kilometers. Yeah, that should be km with a little 3 above it for there, cubic kilometers. Okay. All right, so that is it for volume for this video. Again, go ahead and you may begin the homework. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you very much.